I did spend a lot of my adult life from quite early on building a business, a technology services business, which was successful. And then I fucked it all up, basically. That is fair. And then ICE arrests me again.
Oh my God.
Not for tax, because obviously I've done that. Now it's for immigration offences. Federal prisons are pretty well run. They care.
You actually think that the ICE detention centre was worse than the prison?
Much worse.
Welcome back to The Big D with me, Buzzy Randall, and
Angel.
And this week we've got a real treat for you. Breaking from the norm, he is not divorced. However, he has a story worth telling. Welcome, Riordan Maynard.
Thanks very much.
Now, you are known famously as the man who...
Famously?
Yes,
Famously. You blew up the internet.
Please.
Yeah.
That's how I found you.
Fab. Okay.
I was,
business mogul to...
Bloody hell. Yeah. Okay. Keep going.
to incarcerated, which is the word
That's
we
true.
use in America.
Yeah, that's true.
To now back on British soil.
Yes.
Tell us your story.
I wouldn't say business mogul, but I did...
We would.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I did spend a lot of my adult life from quite early on building a business, a technology services business, which was successful. You know, it was a good company. I was very proud of it. Very proud of what we did in bringing in sort of fresh talent, you know, people with not really experienced, skilled people, but people with really good qualities and great attitude and that sort of thing, and then giving them lots of skills and developing them, investing in them, and using that sort of model to build out this very culturally strong business, which grew and grew. I mean, just went crazy. I think as a consequence of timing, you know, and we were lucky and in the right place, the right time, and so over the course of, I guess, sort of 25 years, something like that, we built up a really great company in Europe, the USA, and Asia Pacific, and then I fucked it all up. Basically, that is where.
Can I just say, I was doom scrolling in bed late at night. I've got the ADHD.
Easy, tiger.
Yeah. And that's where I came across you on Jamie Lang's amazing, great company. And you just blew up and went completely viral. And I just thought you were so positive and charming and funny. And, you know, the big deal is all about the worst thing in the world can happen to you and how you rebuild. And I just thought your attitude was so incredible. Slid into your DMs is what the kids call it. And you were so sweet and gracious. And here we are. I'm just, you know, the fact that you can say it like that. You were on top of the world, and like a divorce, like in your business, it all kind of went wrong. And the worst thing in the world happened. You were in prison, and we're not talking barbecue prison.
No, we're not.
And, you know, picnics. We're talking bad boy gangbang prison.
Yeah.
Could you touch
not
it?
here? Is that
Yeah,
right?
not here, no.
In America.
But I don't know I don't know that it's worse there. I don't know.
I've
never experienced it here. So
you get PG Tits cup of tea here. I don't know what's. I mean,
welcome.
But talk to us about your experiences in America, because it just blows everyone's mind. You went completely viral, being so open and honest. But what was the worst for you? What was rock bottom in American prison?
Well, the hardest. I've said this before on Jamie's podcast. The hardest thing really is being separated from your family, and so the not having any access to your children or your wife.
And is that because they're not allowed to come visit you, or because you're in different geographically, it was impossible? Or?
Well, funnily enough, they said when they sentenced me, the IRS guy, who was very pleased with himself at the time, sidled up to me and he said, at least you'll be in the local camp. And so I thought, oh, all right. So they're going to put me in...
Down the road?
Yeah, they were literally down the road from my house. There was a camp was known as Club Fed, as in Club Med.
Yeah,
so it was tennis courts and barbecues.
Pilates.
And so I thought, okay, it's not going to be too bad because the children will be able to visit, Tara will be able to visit. And then they called me and said, you've got to check yourself in I said, okay, great. Think I'm going to go up the road. And they said, into California.
Oh my
So then they
God.
posted me, because I'm an immigrant. They couldn't put me in a camp. That's why I went into all these, some really bad prisons, some not so bad. But they put me 1,000 miles away. So no, they couldn't visit. And then COVID came. And so then they couldn't visit.
Game over.
And then we decided, when COVID stopped, we decided it would be too weird. I mean, I hadn't seen them for 3 years. And
Wow.
So painful.
Did you speak on the phone?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you get minute allocation, and so you can speak to...
A minute?
No, minutes.
Okay.
You get
Oh,
300
yeah.
300 minutes a month, which is not much when you've got 5 children.
That's like one
That
coffee.
would be
That's one
possible
coffee
for you.
morning
Yeah.
for us, babe. Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
so
so
painful.
you have to really work
Yeah.
your minutes.
Yeah.
That's, but yeah, you can speak to them on the phone, and lots of letters. I mean, I got really good at letter writing, and with my handwriting, I really worked on my handwriting.
I mean, there's a silver lining to everything. This is a really beautiful one. Letter writing is something that has gone out the window, and I love
No,
that you
you're
could be an
quite
advocate
right.
for it. I love writing letters, and I love that was something that you got out of that with your family, because they're something that they'll have forever.
Yeah.
So obviously, as I said at the beginning, this is a podcast about divorce and ultimately breakups and separations. How did your family cope with the separation of you not being there?
Yeah, I mean, that's where it is quite similar to... I think you referred... Did you say something about something being like a death without the death or something?
Yeah.
Death without a body.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's horrible.
Yeah.
The separation is beastly, and also it's, in my case, you lose all control, which tricky for me.
I'm a control freak.
I
Are
do
you?
like a bit of control.
Yeah.
And also my whole life, I've had control of everything.
Being the boss.
Yeah, since I was 22, I started my business with my best friend when I was 22, and so no one's ever really told me what to do. No one said you can't do this, you must do that, and
That's
I've
really
always
shocking.
dictated. And
So you don't even have control over your time anymore. Like
No.
what your routine,
When you shower,
what you
yeah,
eat.
you lose control of, and that's part of their process
Yeah.
to break you. But the fact that you have no control, and it's not just control, it's you have no ability to add any value to your
Right.
family. So I can't earn any money, I can't solve any problems, all I can really do is listen. You're basically useless, and that I found extraordinarily difficult. The fact that I'd gone from being, in my mind, extraordinarily valuable. The man.
We love a high self-esteem here.
That was just in my mind. And then
Yeah.
to being really genuinely useless. That was actually
Can I ask, because
extraordinarily
that is so interesting. I am a control freak. I had a lot of power and agency, but when the bomb of divorce, or in your case, what happened to you, how did you reframe? How do you deal with the guilt, the shame, the powerlessness? Because that, I think, is half of the your heart can be broken, your finances can be affected, but how did you deal with that? As a very powerful person, how did you deal with the loss of control internally?
Yeah, I had to work on lots of mental things.
Is it letting go, or is it just
Yeah.
reframing?
Well, it's a bit of everything, I think, in terms of, I sort of developed this whole program of activities around my mind, which allowed me to go from really suicidal, frankly. I was at the end, to now, even during my time, it went from being something that was absolutely terrible to being something very positive, constructive, and now I can look back and think I genuinely can say it's one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Going to prison in America, you say, is one of the best
Yeah,
things that
no,
can
I'm
happen.
not bullshitting either. I genuinely think that.
And it's that. I mean, bringing that back to the topic of the pod, is that a lot of people who initially separate or get divorced, they are in the trenches.
Yeah.
It is horrific. It is, as you say,
Yeah.
this like deeply traumatic,
And you
often
can-
suicidal
yeah.
space you can find yourself, and then you rebuild and you realise so much about yourself, and you come out and 90% of the people that we've spoken to who have got divorced say it was the best thing. Look at me now. It's the best thing that ever happened to me.
That is exactly the same process I went through. It is exactly the same.
So is it is it accepting the death of an old identity and able to walk in a new one? Like, what does it take to go from feeling on the floor, suicidal, like we had Rosie Green say she was ugly crying in her bathroom, like two people who don't want to get out of bed? What is the process to get from there to here?
Well, for me, and I think it's the same as it relates to any major life change, which is not something you anticipated.
Yeah.
Or controlled.
So anything that falls into that category, a divorce would definitely fall into that.
Illness.
If you're not the instigator, I suppose. If you're the instigator, you sort of know it's going to happen, so it's probably less impactful. But if you're the recipient, the prison thing, being fired from your job, death,
an accident,
anything that is unexpected and catastrophically different,
yes,
I think puts you in a position where you lose sight of your future. And so, because your future is like your North Star, it's the thing that your perception of your view of your future.
Yes.
It gives you purpose, it gives meaning, it allows you to walk through tar.
Hope.
It gives you hope, all that stuff. So the minute that goes, which is what I found, because I had a really compelling future. I had always, even from when I was young, I saw myself building this business, and I was going to have this loads of money and all the stuff that normal
empire.
Yes. And that was clear, and I was pursuing it, and sometimes it went well and sometimes it was shit, but that doesn't really matter. It's the fact I knew what it was, where I was going, and I could see it. The minute I lost sight of that, I experienced complete despair. Proper despair, which I think is a consequence of losing sight of the reason for being.
Yeah.
Which is your future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you cope with that despair when you're in prison? A lot of people, for example, when we went through the similar thing, we've got our family. You've got your friends, you've got family, you've got the people in the village, you've got your community around you. How did you cope with that feeling with a very, I suppose, a different community?
Murderers and drug dealers and rapists and
It is, that is different, but you still have your community. I did, and I was very lucky.
You found it.
Well, no, not in prison. Well, you can't show any weakness in prison, so you could never.
You could never have a cry and like.
Well, people do, but you.
But I
did have a bit of a cry. I'm not a crier. Well, I am a bit of a crier now, but previous to that, I would have rather died than cried. But
I'm not a crier.
Yeah, but you don't really show weakness in prison. But I did. I was very lucky because I had all my friends still outside, and and obviously I had Tara was amazing, and the children were amazing. My family were amazing. I had. Friends writing to me and
you had a lot of support. Okay, so you weren't. Did people cut you off? Because we found that when we separated, the loss of people you thought would be your ride or die, it's like family members or godparents or friends who you no longer fit an image, and there's a lot of loss of friends. You don't get invited to dinner parties anymore because people think you're gonna try it on with their husbands, and it's just wild. So did you feel that kind of social shunning in the same way?
I didn't feel it only because I wouldn't have known it.
Yeah,
because I was so isolated from the normal. Probably, I'm sure there are tons of people who think that guy's a wanker. Because of these things that happened, and he's been put in prison. But I must say, people have been remarkable in their acceptance of the stupidity. I am just extraordinarily stupid. And
can we talk about the accountability?
Yes,
what landed you incarcerated?
Well, basically, I had this wonderful business, but I was pushing it too hard. I got very carried away. I thought I was really, really special, and I could do anything I liked.
You flew too close to the sun.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Icarus.
Yeah.
Let's get educated.
Yeah. So I suppose it's a classic tale, but that caused me basically grow too quickly, and the business was not funded for that, and so we ran very heavily on cash flow. And
Were you robbing Peter to pay Paul, that old chestnut?
yeah, I mean, you're basically. It's fine when the going's good because there's so much money flowing around. You can move it around. You can pay this person. You do that. But when the music stops,
musical chairs, and there's not a chair left.
there's not a chair. And that's what happened with the global financial crisis. And so when that happened, we lost a lot of business very quickly, and the air was taken out of the company from a cash perspective. And in response to that, rather than me doing what a proper person should do, which is to say, this is fucked, I'm going to stand up and do, maybe close some things, or I don't know, I should have done something. But my ego said, oh no, we'll just do anything I can to keep this thing running while I sort it out.
Yeah.
And we had been through, I should say, the company, many situations. I mean, when you grow a company, it doesn't go to plan. You go through amazing times. You go through shit times.
You're a pirate. If you're an entrepreneur, you're a pirate.
Yeah.
I have a pirate mentality. Let's go over there and see what the fuck happens.
And you see,
I get it.
You see, and you get through it. And so I just thought I'll do that again. And
didn't work out.
No, well, it didn't. But it no. Thanks,
was that a bit of an understatement? Didn't work out. Didn't work out. Have a cup of tuna biscuit. Start again tomorrow. No, it fucked big time.
But you are extraordinarily
upbeat,
and you just are owning and taking such accountability for this, which I'm finding extraordinary.
I was saying before, if our ex-husbands could take accountability, like I take accountability for my side of the street, if they could, we'd probably all be mates. But a lot of people don't. And it's really extraordinary to see you do.
It sounds like the you before jail may not have been the person who would have taken accountability, or would I be wrong in saying that?
No, that's totally correct. I was not a good. I mean, I don't think I was bad. The trouble is when you achieve things which we have this sort of picture of success, don't we? In this, and I'm not sure I agree with the picture, but it is the picture, which is you do well materially, and you build a company, and you've got lots of people being nice to you because you're paying them.
Nobody says no.
No one says no, and then
it's
things
power
go well,
and success
anyway,
and all the rest
get carried
of it.
away with yourself, don't you? You do
Yeah.
become a bit of a wanker, and so. So I don't think. No, I think that's a very correct observation. I don't think I would have.
But now you really are.
Oh, totally, yeah.
And taking this massive mental resilience that you clearly acquired, but also acquired in jail. You read an awful lot of books.
Yeah.
You obviously communicated in a very meaningful way with your family and friends via the written hand, which I think
which I loved actually. Yeah.
So much more impactful than speaking on the phone.
You stayed alive.
You stayed
Good
alive.
for you. I don't say that lightly.
No, that was a bonus.
Yeah, but it takes a lot of people wouldn't have survived that physically.
It's quite hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I see that.
So this mental resilience
Yeah.
has been the start of your new venture, Mindful.
Yeah, Mindful. Yeah.
Tell us a bit about Mindful.
Well, it is totally based on my experiences. I think you're right to say that I probably had a good strength of mind before I went to prison, but I'd never really thought about it. So it was never conscious. What I found in prison was what I discovered, which was a revelation, was that we completely choose the way that our mind operates. Now, that sounds a bit flippant because obviously a lot of people have a lot of challenges mentally, and I think everyone does. I haven't met anyone yet who does not have issues in some form. So for me to say, oh well, we control it's all is a bit flippant. But what I mean by that is that I, previous to prison, would have thought that's just the way I am. Mm-hmm. So if I behave in a certain way, that's just the way I am. If I believe a certain thing, that's just the thing I believe. That's obviously a consequence of 50 years of programming, either from my parents or my school or experiences, whatever it might be, my the things that influence me, that's all sort of accumulated to make me who I am. And that's how my mind operates. And how my mind operates determines how I behave. And how I behave determines the outcomes in my life. And before prison, I would have just accepted that. What I found in prison, firstly, the biggest revelation was that the way I interpret an event, in my case, prison, determines the effect the event has on me. Completely.
So negative or positive?
Yeah,
it's up to you.
You choose it. Now, I'll probably upset some. I'm not a specialist on anything mental, so I don't want to put myself out as an expert. These are just my experiences. But I can tell you, from being in a situation where I wanted to top myself, to being in exactly the same situation 3 or 4 months later, where I'm actually feeling very good and I'm positive and everything is constructive and I feel actually that I'm making progress against certain things that I've set up as my goals and objectives, and I feel pretty fantastic, bearing in mind I'm in prison.
Yeah.
So that there's still challenges with not being at home and all that sort of stuff. But in exactly the same environment, just because I had changed my perspective on the time in prison, had a radical impact on the way that it impacted me. I went from it being, it would have finished me off, no question, to it's definitely the most constructive thing that's ever happened to me.
Can you learn grit? Can you learn resilience? Is these skills is it nature nurture? How can you do this? If you're, you've had a big reset. You've been to prison.
Yeah.
You could get divorced, but how do you learn these skills?
The way that I did it was firstly to reconstruct my version of my future. So from having a really nice, I'm going to have this business and all these things, I then go into an abyss. I've got nothing. I'm 50 when I go in. I'm going to be 56 when I come out. That's too old to. This is what was going through my head. That's too old to achieve anything. I'm finished. Yeah. My children are going to hate me. My wife's going to leave me. I've got no money. The IRS took everything. Literally couldn't buy a cup of coffee.
They took everything.
Everything.
Houses, cars.
No, everything's gone. Everything.
How did your family survive?
Well, that was thanks to the support of some friends of mine, thank God, and some innovative. I had this piano. Go on. I was going to say, did you have a go bag for the money? Money, gods and drugs.
This
is amazing. No, this is amazing.
Your bag of 100K under the bed.
How the world works. Yeah. When Tara and I lived in Australia for a couple of years, and we rented this incredible house in Cottage Point, which overlooks this place called Pittwater, it's like idyllic. It's on stilts. It's got stairs down to this thing. Anyway, it's a beautiful house. When we rented it, it had a piano, a Steinway piano in it. I played the piano.
Oh, nice.
And not very well, but I like to play the piano. So when we went in, the landlord, when we left, I said, "Can I buy the piano?" And he said, "Yeah, I'll sell you the piano." And he'd sold it to me for 25,000 Aussie dollars, which at the time was about probably £10,000, something like that. Which was a good deal for a Steinway. Mm. So anyway, we bring it back to England, live in England for a bit. Then we moved to America, and we moved to Colorado. The weather in Colorado, it's very dry.
Not for pianos.
Yeah, it's not good for piano. So it starts cracking. Anyway, this is a long story, but it starts cracking. So I send it off to a specialist to have it repaired. And he said to me at the time, "Oh, this is the last Model A produced by the German
You can't make it up.
factory.
It's really special.
It's worth
How
like
much?
$180,000, $200,000.
Oh,
So
my God.
I thought, great. Money was flowing at this stage.
You're like,
I'm not like,
Yeah.
10,
No.
200, whatever.
Stick it in the back.
So he has the piano. He says, it'll take me a while to fix this piano.
So they could get it.
Yeah, and so I just gave it to him. And this is like years ago. This is like in 2007 or something like that. 2000. Anyway, I paid him.
You can't make
and
this
then
up.
forgot about it.
You
Of course you did.
You've got angels looking after
No.
you.
So then,
That's crazy.
I love
then before I went in, I started. I'm fucking no money. I'm thinking, where can I get some? Anyway, so the dude, I reach out to the guy. He doesn't answer me. Just completely blank. So I think, fucking hell, he sold the piano, which he probably has.
Did he know about your situation?
No.
Okay.
And he's lovely. He was lovely.
Okay.
Genuinely nice guy. So I don't really know what was happening. Anyway, I couldn't get hold of him. When I got into prison, I said to Tara, get hold of this guy. Anyway, long story. Well, I've told you the long story, but I could have just told you that what it turned into is I'm not sure what he'd done with the piano. We never seen the piano again. So maybe he sold it. But what he did do, which was amazing, is he basically paid a sum monthly to Tara
To cover the piano, which
for
is
the
actually
whole
better.
time I was in.
That's,
And he is.
You can't. It's actually cleaner.
That's just amazing.
IRS can't get you.
Yeah, no, I know. How amazing is that?
That's like
So that's
Weird.
Someone's watching over me.
I do believe the unit. Like, it's weird when things like that
Yeah.
happen. It's not an accident.
No.
And that's clean, and no one can come for you.
So nice. So that was a
nice
long-winded
guy.
answer to your question. But I had help from friends, but no, there was no money, and that was extremely difficult. But coming back to the point about how do you move from this sort of despair, no future, you feel pretty rough, to something constructive. I did it by remodeling my future. I call it sort of rebuilding my compelling future. So I looked at, from a home perspective, work perspective, relationship perspective, hobbies, every aspect of my life. I basically painted in my mind, and then I wrote extensively my vision of the future for me. And I took into account the fact that I was in prison, of course, because I was going to be there for 5 years. And that became my North Star. That became my reason for being. And from that, I could construct my purpose, the things that I should be obsessed with. So one of the things I absolutely categorically did not want to happen was to come out feeble. You know, to come out, because you can be wasted in prison, because you basically lie down, except for eating.
Yeah.
You're lying down on your bed, basically. There's not much else you can, especially in COVID.
Yeah.
So you can waste away, and especially at my age, you don't hold on to muscle. So I could have wasted away. So I didn't want to come out because I've got young children, and I wanted to be active and and fit. So fitness was massively important. So I sort of really got obsessed with my working out and getting strong. And
Did you hit the gym? Did you hit the prison gym? Was it scary?
I did. Some of them don't have it. The ones that did, they're not. They're scary.
You think of American movies and everyone working out in the gym.
They're really daunting.
Terrified.
Well, yeah, because I'd never done weights before.
Not the weights. It's because of the people there.
But
That's so
when
cute.
you get in there,
Yeah.
no, I'm not saying I was. But when you get in there, you haven't got a clue what you're doing. But I was very lucky because I mentioned this on the podcast with Jamie. I got really friendly with the Italians, and they really looked after me. So I went into the weights room with them, and it was all great.
You were protected.
Yeah,
It was
they
fine.
knew there's a system. There's a system for everything.
And the Italians look great.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are great,
Yeah.
great friends.
No,
to have. You want the
they
Italians
are
on your side.
wonderful people. Wonderful people. So anyway, I constructed this compelling future, and then I built a plan which took into account the fact that I was in prison, of how I was going to get to that future. So what was I going to do? So things like I wanted to be a much better father. Now, obviously, in prison, as we've already discussed, I was restricted by the fact that I could only phone and write. But I made real commitment to myself that I would write, every week, and I would call, all this stuff.
It's controlling what you can control.
That's the key. And that's then feeds in your plan and allows you to prioritize and choose how you use your time. And so from that plan, I could put together I called it my daily rhythm. And I was really disciplined. I had a very specific way of living my day and my week, and I used to tick off the tiniest achievements. And
So you put goals, like little daily goals
just
then?
like that,
What was
every day.
what was a nice thing for you to tick off on a list?
I always loved ticking off exercise.
Yeah.
That really, and
Fitness.
I still do. I mean, I'm still good.
Yeah.
And reading, I always ticked off reading. You know, I'd have a minimum target each day
Of what you can read.
What to read. Yeah, how much to read.
Yeah.
And writing. Yeah, I had goals on writing, and yeah, so
It's making a choice, isn't it, about how I'm going to... I have a good friend, Laura, she said, for me, I can get very angry and bitter and it's not fair and and get into victim mentality. And she said to me, burn the fucker down, start again.
yeah.
And I was
I think that's right.
And so I have it like a forest fire. It's not fair, the things that have happened, and there's a lot of things I'm angry about, but you have to burn it down and start again. I think that's really hard for people when they've spent years building something, you built a business, but to accept to starting over again, that's really hard. But that's the way forward. You just got to start again.
Well, you can even take it further than that and work out what is constructive about the change.
Yeah.
And what is positive, and then focus 100% on that, which is what I did.
And gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the other big piece, which is I never was grateful for anything. And I had if you wanted a guy who was lucky, you're looking at him, because I mean, I was lucked out on everything.
Are you happier now versus
much
then?
Happier, yeah. Oh, I'm much happier now. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I think I might be a nicer chap. And I think I'm 1,000 times happier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what's really interesting about what you said at the beginning there was that you reshaped your future. And I think a lot of people and a lot of listeners who listen to this are kind of stuck in reshaping their past and how did we get to this situation?
They live in the past.
Yes, they're stuck in the past, and it's about saying, okay, well, it wasn't all bad, and it wasn't all
if I had done this, and if I had done that.
And often we discuss it. We talk about the past and less about the future. And it's actually really interesting that you immediately went to, okay, the past done, what now the future.
Yeah.
Because I think we are all a bit stuck in the past and lost in what the future looks like.
I think it's because it's scary. Because I was one and done. I married my first boyfriend. I thought we're going to be grandparents. You have a vision of your life, and then it blows up, and then you're like, what the fuck now? And it's probably easier to be like, and then he did this, and then he did that.
How do you trust yourself?
Yeah, it's very difficult.
How do you trust that person to make the right choice for the future? Yes.
Yourself.
How did
Interesting.
you finding yourself in prison, having made choices that led to you being there, that you're like, right, I'm now going to reshape my future, and I believe in myself to do it.
Yeah. The self-trust, the self-belief to go forward.
Yeah, that is the third piece of this, what is now my program. But what I did was the reworking of your belief system, which is the biggest work. That's the biggest. The visioning of your future is not easy, because you do come to the exercise with a lot of preconceived ideas. You also have things that perhaps are non-negotiable in your life that you need to bring with you into the future. So, but it should be an enjoyable exercise, because you're basically saying, I mean, in the case of divorce, my way of dealing with that, and I can talk about it, because it wasn't easy for Tara and I when I was in prison at all. I mean, she quite rightly was not very happy with me.
I think that's a goddamn understatement.
Another understatement.
I mean, she's obviously an incredible woman. She stuck by you. She kept it together, locked it down, and you know, I'm sure you must be so grateful to her in so many different ways. But you kept it together. Yeah. And you kept your marriage together, which was great.
But I think in the key thing in the event that wasn't the case is to find a way to view your new life constructively. You know, the minute you talked to me earlier about the fact that you divorced, and my immediate thought is, fucking hell, that's amazing, you're free. That's why. No, I'm not being negative about
That's what
being
my
married.
ex-husband thinks.
No, but I think there is
what?
an enormous value in.
And Buzz, you've seen the dick pics. No, but the freedom is true. The freedom. No, but the freedom is true. But it is scary. It's like a huge.
We got there.
We got there. I have to mention them.
Yeah.
No, but the freedom is scary as well.
Of course.
And I think that is what a lot of people you have to reach. It's like a lump of clay, and you have no idea how to reshape it.
Yeah, and that is a process. But once you let your mind go and you start to,
It's exciting.
yeah, it should be very exciting.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I have a whole new career, and like and it's like I think you are always looking at the positive.
that's what you have to do, because I concluded pretty early on, what is self-pity and self-indulgence serving? Who is it serving? Where is it taking me? Is it achieving anything? No. And so it's almost irrelevant whether it was right or wrong, how fair or unfair my trial was, whether I did what they said I did or didn't. It's all irrelevant, because it's not, dwelling on it is not serving me. The only thing I should do is take from it to build a better version of myself. And that's what I was trying to do with the exercises. And the biggest piece, having done this compelling future, put my plan together to get towards my compelling future, was reworking all of my belief system. And that's the most difficult, because
What is your belief system, and what did you have to rework? Because I think people don't even think about it.
No,
They
you
just-
don't.
So did you have to forensically go, oh, okay, I think I'm worth this, I believe this.
Yeah.
Like, what did you say?
you have to go through
What-
in as microscopic detail as possible.
What are the questions you ask yourself to discover your belief system?
Well, what's interesting about being alone, and one of the problems with modern life is the fact we've got these phones all the time. We're never really alone. But what I noticed really early on in prison is how much we talk to ourselves. It's extraordinary how much and the smallest things, like, I'm going to go and I'm going to go and eat that. Oh, you don't want to eat that. You want to eat that.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, all this stuff that you're.
But you notice it
The
because you don't have all the distractions.
Yeah, there's no one talk. You're on your own, and so it is noisy, but you're still on your own. So, within your belief system, which is a product of years and years of conditioning, you believe things. I've always thought to myself, how can I? If you look at politics, this is one of the best examples of this. How can someone have so diametrically opposed views on the same thing? And the reason is they have a different belief system associated with that thing. And neither is necessarily right or wrong. They're just different. And so if you change your belief system, you will change the way that your mind views something, which will change your behavior and will change your outcomes. And that's a fact. So the question is, it's a good question from you. How do you define what your beliefs are? You have to get into, that's quite an uncomfortable exercise, but also liberating, because you've really got to identify the beliefs that are limiting you. And those are things that you have been taught that you are, or that you should believe, or that you should think, and they are very destructive, and they stop you achieving. I mean, because I do a lot of one-to-one coaching work with people through this Mind Thought program, and what you notice is people will say something like, when I talk about the compelling future, they'll say, oh, well, I really want to do this. And then they'll say, but I could never.
They talk themselves out
The
of
inner
it.
voice is...
That would never work. Oh, I mean, I know it's stupid. That could never happen. And that's a consequence of their belief. They don't believe that they are capable, or they don't believe that it's possible, or they don't have... And belief is fundamental
It's a form of faith, and we're good Catholics.
Yeah,
It's a form of faith.
Well, I don't know whether you can put me in the good Catholic category, but I definitely.
Well, I was brought up Catholic.
I was definitely brought up Catholic.
Yeah. But I was speaking very weird. You made me think of something. I was backstage in the green room at This Morning, and I ran into Billy from SAS. Who Dares Wins? I love that show.
Oh, I love that show.
I've never seen it.
Oh, you'd love
my God,
it.
you'd love
You
it.
need to be on it. Can I just? It's all about taking civilians and putting them through special forces training.
Oh, I love that.
You would do it. You would
No,
smash.
I like that.
I would
Yeah,
smash
like
that. You would smash that.
I like
Anyway,
that, yeah.
I went up to Billy and went, "I'm a huge fan," and I was literally dressed in head to toe pink with a tiara. And
Love
he
it.
was so sweet that and I said, "I think I'd smash that. All the interrogation, the this or that." And I said, "But I don't think I'd be very good at the physical." He's like, "Why have you said that? I think you'd be really good. I can
Yeah.
tell." And I was like, "Oh my!" I had talked myself out of
Yeah.
that. I'm actually really sporty and strong.
Yeah.
But again, I had just talked myself out of that. In another life, I think I could have been a spy. I have tradecraft. But I'm just saying, but I was always captain of everything, very sporty. But I talked myself out of that before I even started. And he's like, "Why would you say that?"
That's what people do, yeah.
And it's that military SAS mindset of like forward, action. It's really, you should go on that. Have you seen it?
No, I'm going to watch it now.
Channel, it's amazing.
What,
I
don't
can
watch
always
the
tell
celebrity
that.
one, though. Watch the regular people
Yeah,
one.
The
okay,
regular,
yeah.
there's a regular one
Okay,
and
yeah.
a celebrity
Oh, I'll watch
one.
that, yeah.
It's really
I'm
interesting.
really interested to know, when you're in prison and you are writing this, you're going through this metamorphosis, mental metamorphosis.
And physical.
Did you do it?
And physical, yeah.
Did you do it on your own? Is this something that you did solo, or did you have? Was there books, or did you have a
books,
mentor?
yeah. There was
or-
no people, but there were books. Lots of books. I
What's
read
your top
lots.
10 books? What's your top 5 books?
Well, I always mention Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, which was probably the most...
famous psychologist.
Very famous, yeah, and that was probably the most impactful. My brother sent it to me.
Oh.
Yeah, and
With pages laced with
I wish. Laced with what?
Chocolate. I
That'd
just
be
want
nice,
some
that'd
some
be
chocolate.
nice.
God
Yeah.
damn it, that's what I'd want.
Yeah.
What did you crave
God,
for?
I'd love chocolate. Yeah.
What did you?
Coffee.
Do you have
and
cravings?
chocolate,
Did
yeah.
you like? Yeah.
Well, funnily enough, they do have commissary.
Yeah.
So you can buy stuff. So
Yeah.
I would eat tons of Milky Ways, which was the Mars
Yeah.
bar they had. It's
Yeah.
like a Mars bar.
Oh,
Yeah.
In America,
Yeah.
it's called Milky Way.
So you'd have that. You'd have to trade
But
stuff.
I missed coffee mostly.
Yeah, coffee.
Proper coffee.
Lovely
Yeah.
coffee.
Yeah, and that's what I craved. That's the first thing I did when I came out.
what can I ask? As a Brit, no tea.
Not really. I mean, they have
Animals.
black tea.
Animals.
Yeah, they don't really have. They
So you
certainly
would-
don't have
I don't.
Yorkshire
Yeah. You wouldn't ask for it as
or
well.
Tetleys.
Would you look a bit weak? Be like, may I have a cup of tea, please?
No,
Like-
I wouldn't ask for a cup of tea. No.
Can I ask something? Because it is fear. Like we were saying, you go to the depths of despair, fear. You literally were in prison with proper grown-up bad boys and gangs. How do you deal with fear? How do you put a little ring around fear to move forward?
Because fear can be so
literally,
halting.
Yeah, it is,
literally
yeah.
halting.
Yes.
And fear, financial fear, emotional fear. You had all of that, and probably physical fear, because there's like not nice people in there. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the fear? Put it in a container and move forward.
Well, you have to develop certainty, and I think that is also associated with alleviating worry and anxiety. So I put them all in the same category. Those worry, anxiety, and fear are.
So, and what and what do you mean by certainty?
Well, you have to basically convince yourself that whatever you're fearful of is not going to happen.
you have to be slightly delusional. Is it delusional? Because I
know
say
whether
I'm
it's
delulu.
I
Like,
don't think it's delusional. I think you have to rationalise it, and
say you're going to be okay.
yeah, and which is true. And it's no different to being, you could be in a car accident, or you could, it's the only way to deal with it. That what you do in reality is you form relationships which give you more comfort, protection, and minimize the risk. But it is. You do get fearful. There's no
Okay,
doubt
so
about it.
for us, that would be having a cup of tea with Buzzy and having community. And you it was like affiliating with a gang to stay safe.
No, I think it's deeper than that. I think if you are fearful of a situation, you have got to come to terms with it, and you have to face that.
Face your fear.
Yeah, you have to face it, and you have to sort of reconcile it. And I think the same applies to. The worst thing is not fear. The worst thing is worry and anxiety. They're the killers in prison, and they're the killers in life. I think they're responsible for most illness.
I think they're one of the most awful, horrific parts of a divorce process is the worry and anxiety.
Because you're not. And also worry and anxiety isn't actually real. You're dealing with a perceived future that hasn't happened, or you're dealing with the past. It's being present is where you are the happiest, and like nothing's happening right now. Why are you worrying about something that hasn't happened? Yeah,
it's a lack of certainty.
Yeah,
because you go from in the case of a marriage, you go from some certainties, which is you're going to have dinner tonight, and the mortgage is going to get paid,
and security and company,
and then suddenly nothing is certain. Where's the money going to come from? How am I going to? And it's very similar to being in prison. It's a similar situation.
Was Mindfort on the map that you created in prison for your future?
Yeah, no question. The idea that I could maybe use my experience to the benefit of others is a massive part of my purpose. I mean, I'm very, very driven by that. I'm very interested in it. And I think just to finish the bit about the books, I think that Man's Search for Meaning was very, very instructive, but also Robinson Crusoe, funnily enough.
How interesting.
Yeah, which...
That makes sense, though.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, there is a similarity to all my books because they all involve incarceration. But I would never have read Robinson Crusoe.
Yeah.
Because you think Man on an Island must be well boring.
Yeah.
But it's one of the
it's one of the greatest.
One of the best books I've ever read, funnily enough. And it's beautifully written, of course. But philosophically, the lessons, I think that's the right word, the lessons in it are amazing about how you take a situation and turn it to your advantage, which is basically what he did. So that was very instructive. And then there were tons of other books, like A Gentleman in Moscow.
I love him.
Unbelievable. Yeah, brilliant writer. I mean, I think he's the best modern writer. Certainly I've read the best. He is the best modern writer. But his book, that's all about a Russian guy who is, during the revolution, is put in a 5-star hotel.
He's incarcerated in a hotel.
Yeah, in a 5-star, like in the Savoy. I would have liked to have been in the Savoy. Yeah. But again, it's about how he makes good of this awful situation, having lived an extraordinary free life. Yeah,
you have to take I think it's reality, acceptance, and how am I going to make this better? What can I control? What can I control?
And then really working on the way your mind supports all of that. So you're not, because you mustn't. You've got to change the operating system.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everything is sort of a bit fake. You can't just say, I feel amazing today. I mean, and I do believe in affirmations. I think affirmations are very powerful. But they've got to be anchored in something with real substance inside you, so that you believe it. Because if you believe it, it will be.
Do you think that that men are better at this than women?
Buzzy.
Well, I think,
you take offence to that?
I am. What? As a fully paid feminist, how can you even ask that?
Because I think we are naturally, more, and I think women are magical. I'm shouting myself down now.
No, you know what?
Saying it, but
this
I think we are more anxious.
No, that's bullshit. I think men have been, in a patriarchal world, made to believe in themselves more. And we've been made to doubt ourselves more. I do think that is a cultural noise. Do you know what I mean? And I always say, God, give me the confidence of a mediocre middle-aged man. Do you know what I mean? It's like the confidence of so many people who shouldn't they just believe in themselves because they've been programmed.
That's
The
what I
world's
mean,
been programmed.
is that-
but I don't think it's naturally a
it's-
default setting.
Your belief in yourself and your humility. I mean, it's infectious. For one, I mean, I'm
very
I'm
rare.
going to go home and write a plan.
Literally, everyone, we
Well
all
done.
are.
No, you should. No joke. It has an extraordinary effect on
Yeah.
you.
Can I
just
just-
the act of the plan.
Yeah, it's an
But
act
what
of
if the-
faith.
what
It's a
if the
contract to
plan
your
is-
future.
I mean, does the plan have to be realistic?
No.
Well, what is
No,
realistic?
it doesn't matter.
Everything,
It-
like,
the-
you know,
the
did you think
most
you'd have a
important-
podcast 2 years ago?
The most.
I mean, it's not even a year old, this pod, so
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
even a year ago.
That
Yeah.
would nothing would have been realistic. That wouldn't
Yeah.
be realistic. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't need to be. The most important thing is having it.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, it doesn't even matter if you don't get to it. You've got to have it because life is not in the future. Life is now. And so, well, the three things I try and do with Mindfort are make sure that someone's got a view of the compelling future, help them move forward constructively from any events in their past. So I purposely don't say positively because some events are so bad that it would be foolish for me to say it's got to be positive, but at least it's got to be constructive.
And you can always be constructive.
Yeah, if you frame it properly.
Yeah.
And then the third is looking at your life as it stands and working out what things you love and want to keep, what things you don't like and you want to get rid of. Those are easy. Well, sometimes it's difficult to get rid of the things you don't like because you fear change and all that sort of stuff. But
Hangers on.
the
that's
hardest
interesting.
the
No,
hardest
that's easy
thing
to get
is
rid
to identify the things in your life that you are stuck with, and that everyone has them.
Like what?
Well, this is going to sound awful, but if
Do it.
Well, if you had something like a very unwell elderly parent,
Yeah, I was gonna
and
say.
they were dominating your life,
Yeah.
and you have to look after them, and
Yeah.
of course we do. I'm not
Yeah.
suggesting we don't. That is
Or a
part.
toxic family member or something.
Yeah.
You have to do. It has to be dealt with. You can minimize, but it's there.
Yeah, and you have to learn to love it. That's what I think.
Ooh.
Because you are only living your life now, and so whatever you have in it, you need to love, and you've got to learn to love it, and you can learn to love it. You just have to train your mind to view it in a specific way, because the reason you don't love it is because you've trained your mind to think of it in a specific way, and that's absolutely categorically correct.
It's programming.
It's
We're
programming, yeah.
computers, and it's like change the software.
Yeah.
And
So those are the three things that with the Mindfort thing I'm trying to do. So
Can I say something creepy?
Good,
When we were
please.
chatting before, your old house was on my vision board. Do you remember that? I told you that.
I know that.
And I used to always, in the Cotswolds, always used to drive past your old house and say, not knowing you lived there, I'm not stalking you, but I used to say, girls, wave to the house, because it was like my dream house.
Isn't
with
that
a
amazing?
Beautiful
'Cause
walled
it's so
garden.
obscure.
It's so, yes. And it's creepy, isn't it?
and now look at you.
We're here. It's like
I
the
loved that house.
Yeah.
Tara hated that house.
Really?
Yeah.
I loved it.
I told her that it was. I don't know whether I said it was on your vision, but I said you can't believe this.
It's
anyway,
really
I told
creepy.
her, and
What did she
said,
say?
She's welcome to that. house.
Yeah. it's probably, you know what? On paper, it's probably very.
I really liked
Was
it.
it cold or
No,
like, was it hard to
it was
upkeep?
It was an odd. It looked spectacular, didn't it?
I just sing Gloria, Gloria. Every time I'd go, I'd be like Gloria. It just sounds
Yeah,
it's
a lovely
epic.
house. Yeah, but inside it wasn't as good as it looked outside. But the gardens were amazing.
The gardens, yeah, it's probably not
Gardens
comfy to live. Was it comfy to
unbelievable.
live in? Like, is
No.
it hokey pokey rooms? That
Yeah.
kind of thing? Yeah,
2 wings.
yeah. Oh, I love a wing.
I quite like a wing.
Who doesn't?
We're bougie. I think a lot of people would
I do
prefer
like
a
a
cozy
wing.
cottage. No, give me a goddamn
Wings.
wing.
I like a wing. You
Yeah.
move into your own
Yeah.
wing.
And you may go to your wing and a walled
I'll
garden.
be in my wing.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, there you go. Half the divorce rates. Yes. Anyway, that was weird.
Quickly, Mindfort. If
Yeah.
anyone's interested in getting in touch with you,
Oh, I'd love them to. Yeah, and mindfort.co. Mindfort.
I will put all the information.
We will.
Yeah, and I'm absolutely useless on social media. And and I did this thing with Jamie, and he's amazing. By the way.
That was so sweet and charming. That you got so many fans from that.
I know. I got thousands of messages. Thousands.
Did you? Was that quite overwhelming?
Thousands. Yeah. I mean,
were you expecting that?
No, not at all.
What would have old Riordan said to that?
I don't really know. I mean,
I'm the man.
Obviously.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Obviously.
I did say I've got to be really careful that it doesn't start again because ego is the devil. I mean, and so that was really good. But I'm not very good at social media, and everyone says, "Oh, you got to do the social," and I don't know whether I can do it. I don't know whether I've got it in me to.
Yes, you do.
No, I just don't know whether hey, how is everyone?
You know what? You you love a chitty chat. You are good company.
Quite like a chat,
you like it. I know my people.
Yeah,
you like a chitty chat. And we are children of the 20th century. We were not born with, this is not native to us like it is to our kids.
That's true.
And the voice I have in my head is like, put the phone down, stop making a show of yourself. And I think we all have that of a certain age.
Yeah.
Like, who do you think you are? Stop making, but then.
It's more sort of weird.
It's weird.
I just don't get it.
Well, our previous guest, Elizabeth Short, she doesn't speak. She just points.
She points.
She has a thing, so she just points
You,
and then has
but you
words.
are such a good communicator.
So you can find a thing.
Yeah, but I do think
I've got to try and do it. I mean, I got to
have a go. What
update
made
myself.
me feel better about it and really liberated me? I said it's not about you. It's be kind, be helpful.
Yeah.
So
I think
every
that's
time
true,
I produce anything, I'm like, how am I being kind? How am I being helpful? It's not about me. How can I help people?
Yeah.
I think that would be
That's
really good.
good. Yeah,
So,
that's good.
and then you're like, okay, let me give you top 3 tips on this.
Yeah, that's good.
Kind and help, and you take yourself out and your ego and everything out of it, and you don't care what people think because you know you add value. So be kind, be helpful. Little snip tips, snip tips. Is that?
But I have had lots of people add me, which is great. And
yes.
I just say it because don't expect too much. Although, as you know, if you send me a message, I do reply.
I'm
did.
Really good.
I'm really funny about.
I think you've got good manners.
Well, I think it is. There's something about.
You've been raised right.
I've always been like that. I can't not reply to people.
Yeah.
Because I think if someone's made the effort, like you did, to write to me, why wouldn't I write back? And that's why I have a bit of a problem with group communication.
Group chats and
broadcast, because it's lazy. If I've got, and now I understand this when you get into the stratosphere on people who are connected to you, but if I've got a few hundred followers, I just write them all a note.
Oh,
like a
lovely.
New Year, I wrote them all a little note saying Happy New Year. I mean, people
so
think
sweet.
they think I'm a fucking lunatic.
No, it's
they
lovely.
do. They look at it, they think.
It's, you know what? Connection and care and good manners is everything. And I do think, what you went through is character building. Divorce is character building, whether you like it or not. And it's really nice. I think most people aren't ever really tested. Do you know what I mean? Like, I went through a divorce. Was actually not the worst thing that's ever happened to me. My childhood was far more scary and horrific, and I had no control. So at least this is better. But you've been tested, and you know who you are. And I think when you're divorced, or it is a time in people's lives where they are tested, and you can. It's very comforting to hear from you that you have a form of control in how you respond. That's quite. That's quite nice.
If there is one takeaway
powerful
for people, it is that, which is. If you can decide how you want to interpret an event and make that decision allow you to interpret it constructively, it will change your life. I mean, it will completely change, just that one thing. And again, I'm being a bit flippant because it is quite hard to do because your basically default mode is negative. The human's default mode.
To keep us alive.
It's always negative. It's self-indulgent. You sort of go into this poor me.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been, but that serves nothing.
Do you think it's a necessary part of the process to go through that to then
the misery guts bits?
Yeah, they're like.
Did you feel sorry for yourself?
This is not a place I want to be.
How long did you give Do you put a timer on? Okay, I can feel sorry for myself for a month, a week, or did you have to just snap out of it?
Well, I got to the point where it was one or the other.
Life you choose to live.
Yeah. And so, but I'm not recommending people do that.
No,
of course.
and it's very sad to like.
Yeah, you don't need to get to that
No,
point.
but
you do need a
choice.
sort of
Live.
a point at which you're tested, I suppose.
A bottom.
Yeah, I think you. I mean, they always say that, don't they?
But
Can't come
you
out.
hit rock bottom. You did hit rock bottom.
I did.
And
yeah.
you climbed out.
Yeah, thank God.
It has been the most compelling.
Didn't I say he's amazing?
Yes, you did, and I.
And am I
there's
always
no doubt.
right? Yes.
It's been a
You're
joy.
very
We could
nice.
sit
You're very nice.
and talk for
Could you
hours
come
and hours
back?
and
I think
hours.
you need to be a
Come
friend
back.
of the
Listen,
show.
I don't mind coming back. Listen,
Come
I'm
back
happy to
and
chat.
do a part
If I'm
2.
useful, I will.
You are. We can
Yeah.
have questions and
Live
we can do
shows, we can have coaching.
We can have like please come back because your resilience, your character, your human, your good, positive attitude.
It's a hell of a story.
And just so
It is a. I mean, it
refreshing.
is a story. I mean,
There's a
there's no
book in there.
doubt. It's
no,
really
it's a Netflix. Can we please
extraordinary,
get this on Netflix? And can I have a guest star or something?
Yeah.
Red carpet
Yeah.
moment.
I'll be the one to
Yeah.
give you your first cup of tea. Welcome
Netflix.
back.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Here's a Yorkshire tea, and Buzzy can give you a biscuit as you come. And we didn't even say, Ice. You actually have had run-ins with Ice. Ice came
Oh
for you.
yeah, I
Can we
had-
please
oh,
just
yeah.
say that?
That
You-
actually. That.
Can we
talking
talk
of
about
trauma,
Ice?
The whole.
You're definitely not allowed to go to America now.
The whole. The whole. Well, the arrest, the original arrest trial.
Tell Buzzy,
prison.
this is wild.
Yeah, no, that was really tricky. So then, done the whole sentence. They released me to home in America, and I think bloody hell, I've lucked out because
I've done my
I
time.
knew that if you commit a federal crime in America and you're on a green card,
Oh, you're gonna go.
you're in controversy.
Yeah.
They can throw you out.
They'll take it off you.
So I thought, bloody hell, I've lucked out here. They've let me go home and I'm going to do my life in America. And I got home 13 days.
1-3.
Yeah. And you can imagine after being away for that much time, it's odd for the children. It's odd for Tara.
Yeah.
Odd for me. It's like being a stranger in your own home.
Yeah.
It's a really weird. Anyway, so it starts warming up and things start getting back to normal, but better.
A rhythm. You find a rhythm.
Yeah. And then ICE arrests me again.
Oh my God.
Not for tax, because obviously I've done that. Now it's for immigration offences. And
They came for you.
they took me again. And so all of the
and incarcerated
stuff,
you.
yeah.
Again.
all of the stuff
For how
the
long?
children and Tara happened again.
Oh my God,
and
how
it
traumatic.
felt worse this
Yeah.
time. And then they put me in the worst like an ICE prison, which they're worse than federal. Federal prisons are pretty well run. They care.
You actually
Ish.
think that the ICE detention centre was worse than the prison?
Much worse.
With all the drug dealers?
Well, they don't have any. All of the South American gangs, and they were very nice to me, though. I mean, thank God, because they are not. I mean, some of them, like MS-13, they're like dead in their eyes. I mean,
And they were
they're
because were you quite
poor
charming?
little boys, really.
Yeah. Were you quite charming to them? We just had.
I just made an effort with everyone. Yeah, I really.
Yeah.
I was polite to everyone, and I was respectful to everyone.
Yeah.
And because they've had life, you don't know what they're like. I mean, I've had such a nice life, and their lives are not nice. I mean, it's not a nice way to grow up. And
But in prison, at least there's a structure, there's a system, there's toilet paper, there's
but in the immigration, no. I mean, that is locked
no
down
basic
24/7. You don't leave the room. It's like a small room. There's 120 of you in it. It's
In one room?
Yeah, it's very, very. It's like
How long were you in there for?
3 months. Yeah, waiting for
After
a
prison?
judge. Yeah, waiting for a judge.
It's disgusting.
Because the judge, I said on day one, I'll buy my own ticket.
Like,
I'm
get me
going.
out. Yeah.
And they said, you have to see a judge. By law, the judge has to order you deported. So that was my experience of ICE. But the ICE people were actually nice. They were just doing a job.
Nice ICE.
Yeah, they were nice. They were very nice to me, and they just packed me in the car and drove me off to prison,
Again, you could have felt sorry for yourself, and you didn't. I would have just been furious. I think rage and fury has got me through a lot of my life, and it's time to put those two down and just be much more...
Compassionate to yourself.
Yeah,
as well.
definitely. I would have been furious.
Well, and look for the upside. That's
Yeah.
my advice. I mean,
Yeah.
in that situation, it was awful. But the upside is I'm free. I don't have to
Yeah.
piss in a jar every week to prove that I'm not doing drugs. I don't have to report to a probation officer. I've
Yeah.
saved $5 million in fines, and you know it's
finding the
and I'm
positive.
free. I can
And
do
you're
what I
home.
like,
And you can have a Yorkshire fucking tea anytime you want.
exactly.
Can I just say thank you so much for being so kind. You are the epitome of grace and kindness, and thank you for sharing your story with us and the Big D. You are absolutely fabulous. Please come back. Thank you so much. It is all about resilience, character building, and just moving forward with strength and honour.
Yeah, thank you.
Boom.
And if anyone wants to get in touch with you, it's
Mindfort.co or Riordan Maynard at Instagram, but don't expect too much.
But you will get a Happy New Year.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And you'll get a reply.
You'll get a reply, so that be careful. You're going to be.
And now, if there's too many,
If it's too many, don't push it.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on. Yay!